so special.
I'm telling y'all, in this faith, the only thing that you can do is try. You gotta apply these laws, statutes, and commandments to the faith of the Most High, Yahushua. By some of my Yahushua, I'm telling you, I tried. A mouth is hard to contain, the face to point the blame. I got a 9 iron, I'll plug you, welcome to the range. Dry bones, hunger pains, pestilence and hurricanes. Niggas wanna entertain, the blind can't ascertain. The wars for your brain, wanna suit up, then come see me. Read John 8 and 32 and maybe we can be free. No hookups or freebies, Israelite roots on GP, making the heathen flee. Living the word is my destiny, I might get fouled, throw the towel, where's the referee? Friends connect my Hennessy, you gas off jealousy, effeminate tendencies, love affair with enmity. These kites want our legacy and lie about equity. Rebel like the Maccabees, worldwide catastrophes. Pray when we face the east, the 7 crowns on the beach. Let my dogs at the least hit the word in the streets. I'm Mayweather with the word, all wins, no defeats. I try to stand tall from pillar to post, but I swear these ain't be doing the most. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I be a stand-up Jake. I try to avoid these stumbling blocks like potholes and scanning you niggas like barcodes. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, I be a stand-up Jake. As good as it gets, the Lord said it best. Yours is delayed and mine is expressed. My spirit is vexed. Hit the left and Van Ness, keep the law for success. I heard the word about Kemet and I wasn't impressed. Nevertheless, I keep my sword sharp. He loves playing in the dark. Greatest of the art. Harrison Forrest get torn apart. Why you wanna start a game that you can't win? A bunch of jokers, charlatans, and Harley Quinns. Melanated skin, holding the upper hand. You rustle on the motherland, gird with the bands. Do as the Lord commands, and it's like the sands. 144 grand is how we seal the deal. It's no swine with the meal, elected like you're ill. Israel, how it feels, time to break the spell. Shots to UCL, from the depths of hell. I'm doing life with Christ and I don't need no bail. I try to stand tall from pillar to post, but I swear these ain't be doing the most. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, and be a stand-up Jake. I try to avoid these stumbling blocks like potholes and scanning you niggas like barcodes. I try to keep it real when everything's fake. Never fold, never break, and be a stand-up Jake.
Shalom, shalom, peace, welcome. It's another episode, DSTM. Don't shoot the messenger. This is Brother IQAhmath. I acquire first name, IQ. It's all the same. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahushua. Salute to the saints, the 12 scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Israel 1 through 12. Holler at me if you hear me. If you've been around, you know what I'm putting down. If you have not, don't get too close because you might get shot. This is your messenger, brother. IQAhmath. I acquire first name again. By the time you're viewing this, the new moon will be upon us. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. And blessed new moon to all my brothers and sisters celebrating this evening. A little different. We doing DSTM for a new moon, right? But greater things need to be discussed, okay? I'm going to keep it real with y'all. And I'm going to leave it where it is at this point. You see the title. Matter of fact, I need y'all to double back and listen to that hook on that song one more time. Not to be vain, but it's so timely because this is the title end that the Spirit told me to deal with today. I said before I wasn't going to talk about Charlie Kirk anymore because I see what it is. I've seen where it's going, and I see how his smiting has been weaponized, and that's dangerous for many who's not paying attention to what's really going on, right? Narratives have been set. The tugging of emotions is in play. The Psy-Op is in order. The paradigms have been created. The algorithms have been set, locked and loaded. You've been getting flooded and bombarded with nothing but the first and last name of this white man. And everybody, including myself, has been caught in this whirlwind until I pulled my parachute and I'm hanging now and I'm looking and I'm like, oh, look at the roaches, look at the rats, look at the ants, look at the grasshoppers. They're all jumping around, they're all running around in the same maze, running around the image and the initials of CK. Now, you see the title, Operation Charlie Kirk, the Psy-Op captivating the world. The Psy-Op captivating the world. Many of y'all know what a Psy-Op is, right? But for anybody new, anybody that's not familiar, anybody that's, trying to figure out and understand, well, what exactly is going on? Let's just look at a definition real quick, okay? Prayerfully, everybody's well, man. If you haven't already wiped your feet, man, make sure you do that for your brother, all right? Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging, man. All right. Sharing is caring, right? Remember they tell us? So let's look. I don't like always running with the first thing that we see, but let's just let's see what Webster's got to say about a psyop, right? A military operation usually aimed at influencing the enemy's state of mind through non-combative means. Military operation aimed at influencing the enemy's state of mind. Well, if you're looking at it from a class system, so to speak, you got the poor, the unfortunate, the downtrodden, the forgotten. You got the rich, you got the elite, the 1%, so forth and so on, right? In their minds, we're the enemy. According to the Bible, these same individuals, the wicked, so-called white men, and the rest of his cohorts, according to Psalms 83, are the enemies of Israel, right? So blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, man, whether you like it or not, you've got enemies within this earth. And the Bible tells us that, according to Deuteronomy 28, says that we're going to have to go to our enemies, and one of all things, he's going to send a nation from afar, who's swift as the eagle flieth, whose tongue we're not going to understand. He's going to, take our kids, rape, pillage the women. I mean, the whole nine, our lives hanging in doubt and in front of him, spoiling our lands, being cursed in the field, cursed is our baskets and our stores, all of that good stuff, right? That's one definition of seeing what are we talking about. How about, let's see what Wikipedia says. Psychological operations, a psyop, are operations to convey selected information and indicators to audiences to influence their motives and objective reasoning, and ultimately the behavior of governments, organizations, groups, and large foreign powers. Did you hear that? The aim is to ultimately alter the behavior of governments, organizations, groups, and large foreign powers. We've heard from President Bibi Netanyahu, him coming out speaking glaringly about Charlie Kirk. You didn't hear him speaking about him anytime before this. You see Agent Orange. He's talking like they've been best friends. Every news media talking head, every podcast, everybody's got their name and his name in their mouth, including yours truly. But again, this is my last time having any focusing in on him, because came to the realization I'm contributing to the cesspool of disinformation, misinformation, distraction, getting everybody caught up chasing, footprints that lead you nowhere. All right. This isn't about, oh, I'm doing this for content. His name is ringing. I'm trying to get my views up. No, I really could give two about that or him. but it is topical. It is about current events. And why am I covering? Because through him, many things are going to change within the world. And it ain't just because of him, it's because they're going to weaponize him. What am I talking about? They're, you know, governments, organizations, groups, large foreign powers. They're going to utilize this as a tool to make changes in the earth that aren't favorable to us. The purpose of the United States psychological operation is to introduce or reinforce behavior perceived to be favorable to U.S. objectives. So everything that we see, the reactions that we're seeing from people, right? The heartstrings being pulled, the fighting that's going on. All of this is because they want these particular objectives. They already had this planned out. They already knew and understood. This is part of a social experiment as well. They're putting these things out there so that they can see the reaction from people. They've targeted the alphabet LGBTQ plus HIV people, the transformers and the transmissions. They're involved in this. The flurries, which is a whole nother damn abominable, bestiality, damn near cult of individuals. White supremacists is speaking on it. Mass governments is speaking on it. Protests and marches all around the world. They're trying to deify this guy, talking about making statues and monuments and having a folly day named after him. I mean, all within 7 days. This has all been transpiring, all been lined up, ready to go. Military actions being taken. Everybody's got their 2 cents regard. It's a Psy-Op. It's a psychological operation that's going on right now, right? Let's get one more definition, and we're going to look and see. Because I like what the little AI had to say about it, right? Look at it. Psy-Ops, a psychological operation, are military operations aimed at influencing. What are we in? Are we in the age of influence now? Isn't that what the whole internet, the social media stages and is engaging about? Influence. And that's where we're seeing the majority of this information is coming from. Panels and pockets and black holes of influence where people are popping up out of their holes to speak on. And if you keep it real, probably 90% of the people didn't even know who the dude was. I'll be honest. I knew who he was, but I did not care to even engage with what he was speaking on. He wasn't on my radar like that. He was ineffectual for me to even speak about. Right? I seen, a couple of his little debate, and I'm saying, okay, he's over here debating college kids and having these little silly discussions or whatnot. That does not interesting to me. Did I know he was a big of a political influence that apparently he had? No. But I think that a lot of that's being inflated by the internet and by people coming out all acting like they were his best friend. Oh, we had a great relationship. Charlie was a great guy. Charlie was a Christian. Charlie was a conservative. Charlie was a patriot. Get out of here, man. Get out of here. This is all opportunistic type things that's going on. This is all part of the algorithm that people are jumping on to stay relevant within the matrix. So notice it says that it's a military operation aimed at influencing the emotions and behaviors of target audiences. They know who they were going to rile up. It was going to get the white supremacists. They was going to get, they're jumping out claiming them immediately. The Republicans, the far right, they're claiming them immediately. And what are they doing? They're out there even pushing like, hey, all hell needs to break loose. We need to get at the left. And they are already off the top. As soon as he got put to death, Agent Orange immediately said, the far left did this, that. It didn't have no information regarding the background of the dude that smoked him and all. it was an immediate dog whistle to the target audience of the far right. They so they can have they bang out, the Republicans and the Democrats, and the rest of the world gets sucked into it. So the target audience of the college kids, the 18 to 35-year-old demographic that was following and listening to him or watching him online and was affected by his influence or got cut up on in some debate with him. Of course, everybody's coming out now. The woodworks, but remember, this is all based around targeting people's emotions. Yeah, black folks now all of a sudden, we get all the clips, we seeing all the information popping out. Like, oh man, he said this about black women. He said this about black pilots. He said this. Yeah, fake nigga outrage. All of a sudden now we gonna do it. And I said I'm included in that. But when I see where I'm speed down the highway, hey, I'm hitting the brakes. And I'm watch everybody else pass go because there's a dead end there. When it's all said and done, somebody gonna crash out. But remember this, and just think about where and how you see what's going on. For anybody that's check your algorithms on your YouTube. Check your algorithms on. If you see anything, if you looked up anything, Charlie Kirk, anything, your algorithm is going to be flooded with all kind of pundits and podcasts and news reports and government. They're all going to be talking about the same thing. And you ain't got to do but watch one video or something, and they're going to hit you about 5 more because the algorithms are already set to flood and bombard you. And then you're going down a rabbit hole of Charlie Netanyahu, Trump. What's the guy's name? It's another guy running around here, Blumenthal. I forgot his first name. He's saying something. Candace Owens. It's already set up. All right, so let's continue. I don't want to take too much longer on this. Operations aim at influencing the emotions and behaviors of target audiences. So you see the behaviors. Not more than 48 hours. There was worldwide marches in the streets. People already having their signs. I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. What do you mean you are Charlie Kirk? Goddamn Hamites over the tongue. I'm Charlie Kirk. What? What does that mean? Some of y'all seen that. Africans, Koreans, they all over the place talking about I am Charlie Kirk. They're trying to create and deify this guy like he was a martyr. You got goofy bootleg Christians crying on live over him. Like, if you don't knock it off now, it's sick because they don't even realize you're part of an experiment. You're part of an operation. Behaviors of a target audience often through non-combative means like propaganda and media. These are the main tools. Sigmund Freud, what's his nephew's name? He's right on the top of my tongue. Edward Bernays. There you go. Just when I was thinking of Edward Bernays, this is the guy, one of the guys, father of public relations, otherwise known for his influential work in propaganda, particularly through his book Propaganda, published in 1928. He utilized psychological principles to shape public opinion and consumer behavior, significantly impacting modern advertising and public relation practices. This guy right here. This is old techniques, man, that the so-called white man has employed to shift the minds and the emotions of the people. That's what we're engaged in right now. That's what the world is engaged in right now and don't realize it. Because of the influence of the internet, because that check comes at the end of the month from YouTube, or however often it comes on uh, Instagram, TikTok. You know, TikTok now, they just signed a deal. America's going to have its own version of TikTok. They're still going to use the same spyware and everything else that's coming from China, although now it's going to be controlled by the global technocrats, the global tech wizards and warlocks from OpenAI, Google, Oracle, all those, the same ones we've been talking about for a long time, who've been working on track and tracing, uh, MOB type system, B system technology, AI influence. Now they are running and going to have the newest version of TikTok because everybody loves some TikTok. The same thing that they were saying they didn't want China to have control over and access to people's information, they now have it for everybody. They told China, you can't do it. We will do that. And we'll shake on it. We'll have our own deal, backdoor deal. I didn't even talk about that right in today's, this evening's DSTM. That's a whole nother thing. Right. But as long as we see and know, this is where we're being engaged in. Combative means like propaganda and media, they are used to achieve strategic objectives. Mind you, this is important. What's the objective? What are they doing? By affecting the morale and decision making of his adversaries, right? What's the objective? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's get a few scriptures. And you know me, Proverbs 21:12, the righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked. But the Most High overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. See, again, if we're righteous and we're thinking in wise terms, then we got to consider what's going on in the house of the wicked. What is he up to? You know, this isn't just happenstance. This isn't just something that, you know, they're going to allow to slide by. And no, they're going to weaponize it, take advantage of it. They're going to utilize it. You got to think of, see, look at it. There they go. Look at it. Satan saying, get him. Stop him. Stop all that. Stop all that. See somebody coming on in. Somebody missing. All right. Now, see, that's how the spirit move. The spirit's wild. Amber alert. Somebody missing, man. Something going down. Somebody need to be alerted. That's the spirit, though. In the midst of acknowledging and seeing what's going on. Because why? I just got to say, hey, man, that was funny. The righteous, what man wisely considered the house of the wicked. All of a sudden, damn, the home alarm goes off on the white man. You hear it? Boop, boop. Nigga watching. He paying attention. He's in the house. He's trying to scope us out. He's on to us. See how that moves in the spirit? Very, very funny. All right, now let's look over here. Proverbs 14:32. It says, "The wicked is driven away in his wickedness." See, there is going to be no end. This, you know, this guy, man, he just opened up the floodgates for even more transparency for the so-called white man to really expose himself. Remember, 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, says that the man of perdition is going to be revealed, which is the so-called white man. He's going to be revealed. There's not going to be no hiding it. He's going to be out in the open. And as we're seeing, many of the things that Agent Orange is doing now are just outright blatant dictatorial. You talk about being a dictator. He's out here doing whatever he wants, getting late night shows canceled. If you ain't saying or agreeing with what he's talking about, you've got his second in command telling everybody, hey, you know what? If they speaking anything about our boy, tell your boss, get him fired. You know, see something, say something. The elder just sent me a picture the other day. They've got billboards now in LA saying LA versus hate. If you see anything that's hateful and this, that, and the third, report it. I should have that. You know what? Hold on. Let me see if I can get that one. As we talking about it. Verse 32 again. Now notice it says, the wicked is driven away in his wickedness, right? So the so-called white man, he knows no bounds. He's driven away in his wickedness, man. He's off to the races, man. He's shifting the fifth, about to hit six. He's driven away, right? But notice also what it says. But the righteous hath hope in his death. Now I'm not going to elaborate on that. You can see and understand where it's coming from. Okay. So now if you see here, it says the righteous have hope in his death, because why? We know that the power of the Lord is real. We know that the prophecies of the Most High, leaning and judging the nations and their leadership and their influencers is real, right? Let me see if I can get this picture over there. Let me see if I can get this picture. So this is a whole nother thing of propaganda, man. It is unbelievable. Hold on. Y'all got to see this. Because you know what it is. Give me 1 second, y'all. I retrieve this picture. That's some cold things, man. The Most High said the righteous have hope in the death of the wicked, man. So that's how we keep hope alive for Jesse Jackson and his fans. Like, our hope is predicated upon the Most High judging the wicked. When we see things like we witnessed last week, the Most High said, "Hey, you continue on in your hope. I'm still judging the wicked. I'm still on task. I'm still on code. Are you? Look at this. LA versus hate. To report hate, dial 211 or visit laversushate.org. Did you hear? To report hate. Now, who has already been classified as a quote unquote hate group that's on the highways and the byways, aka the corners and the places of concourse, going to uh, sitting out in front of churches, so forth and so on? Who has that stigma already? You know who. And you know who this is being weaponized against. Who are you going to report it to? People are going to be licking their lips and rubbing their hands, Birdman style. Can't wait to call 211. Can't wait to try to get somebody canceled, the police run down. The whole concept of quote unquote hate speech now is being redefined. The First Amendment, as far as freedom of speech now, is going to be even more critiqued. You understand what I'm saying? And this is all because of one individual being smitten by one of his own, right? But the Lord said, man, we got hope in his death, because guess what? When you've got a particular track record, and I guess now this is the reverse psychology that goes on. This is the type of things that are being rewarded in the world. When you display these particular characteristics, you get exalted here in this kingdom, especially if you got the complexion for the connection, i.e. Charlie Kirk. Look at it. Proverbs 6:12. A naughty person, a wicked man walketh with a forward mouth. Well, what's forward? Let's see. Let's look at the Bible definition for forward. Perverse, that is turning from with aversion or reluctance, not willing to yield or to comply with what is required, unyielding, ungovernable. Many of y'all by now have been hearing all of the clips about him speaking ungovernable, disobedient, right? He's not submitting himself as a quote unquote good Christian would. Remember last week, he's out there talking about he hates empathy. It's a new age term that's dangerous, right? He's the one saying that when he gets on a plane, if he sees a black pilot, he immediately is saying, I hope he's qualified. Forget about red tails, forget about, all of the qualifications that our people have helped in preserving uh, in various wars, World War One, World War Two, right? We just got to talking about a black, so-called black Hebrew Israelite who was training F-35 pilots that got fired for keeping the Shabbat. He's training people, more than likely that don't look like him, how to fly these particular planes. And this guy says he sees a black pilot, he's hoping that he's qualified. Of course, he'd be more comfortable with a white man. Hey, well, how about that white man that was hopped up on drugs that tried to crash the plane up there in what was it, in Oregon or Washington last year, 2 years ago? How about that white guy? Remember him? See, this is kind of folly that he was getting away with. That's unyielding, forward, perverseness, reluctance to yield or comply, disobedient. You know the scriptures say, man, let favor be shown to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness. Guy had the Bible in his hand. He swear up and down he was a, westernized Judeo-Christian and all this other stuff, man. But no, he was walking wickedly. He winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet. He teaches with his fingers. Yeah, he's all over the place. Traveling here to there, going on these debates, going on these particular podcasts, talk shows, going and visiting the White House, going to Israel, going here, going there, teaching with his fingers. Forwardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. Whether I don't even know, some of the stuff he was saying was pretty wild. And I think he was doing it for shock value, for attention, likes, and clicks. Even though it's still coming from a place of, the devil. But that's the type of things that he was up to. Mischief continually. And what? He sowed discord. Was he that good old Christian man who was trying to bring everybody together, that was saying that we're all God's children and we're all created equal? So no. He was harping on talking about black crime, blacks being the most incarcerated, all of which are wrong, right? Worried about DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Yeah. Was that co-opted and compromised for the sodomites and the transformers? Absolutely. But when you throw the baby out with the bathwater, he said, "Oh, well, that's for black women, that's for blacks and everybody else." You remember last week we played the clip, and he said that he called talking about he doesn't believe that the black women were smart enough to get the positions that they had, and you got a position, a white person position, all based because it's your color. Who said that those positions are already reserved for whites? See how he slipped up? But that's sowing discord. That's what he was known for. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Oh, what happened to him? Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. But you know what they're going to do is they're going to weaponize him. They're going to try to make him a martyr, as they already are doing. Right? What's the Most High hate? He said, "These things doth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look." We've seen that on him. A lying tongue, seen that on him. And hands that shed innocent blood. We can't say we've seen him do that. A heart that deviseth wicked imaginations. Oh, yes. Yes. Feet that be swift to running to mischief. A false witness that speaketh lies. And he that soweth discord among brethren. I mean, guilty on 6 or 7 counts. That's enough. That's enough to convict, right? Let's get a couple more. Wisdom of Solomon, the 15th chapter. And this is why we got to stay on point. Come on, what's going on? I gotta type the whole thing out. I guess so. All right. We're gonna read verse 3 and 4. It says, "For to know thee is perfect righteousness; yea, to know thy power is the root of immortality. For neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us." Did you hear that? Neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us. AKA a Psy-Op, right? Can't be we cannot be moved, deceived, or distracted by what's going on because there's so much stuff going on the underbelly of things that is going to go right past people's heads. They're not going to understand and see where things are going to come so fast because of the changes, just like they done with 9/11 and everything else. I'm going to get back over there. I just want to pull that one up, but we're going to get back. Now, it says, neither did the mischievous invention of men deceive us. So we're not going to be deceived, right? 2 Corinthians 2:11 says that we can't be ignorant of Satan's devices. Through social media, through propaganda, psychological operations, through this matrix like hamster wheel that everybody's running in. Can't get caught up in that. Nor an image spotted with diverse colors the painters fruitless labor, right? So we're not going to get distracted with those things because guess what? It's all based around proper operations. This is all political, government, ran type things. You know what I mean? Rock 13:6. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, what wantest thou? This is the same way that, these politicians be moving, man. Slow Biden was doing it. Agent Orange does it. Clinton did it. Obama did it. They all do the same thing. They utilize things to help further agendas. And that's just what it is. Right? So what should we be doing? What should we be doing? Let's look at Colossians 3. And we're going to read 1 and 2. It says, if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. What should we be doing? Seeking those things which are above. What should we be focusing on? The kingdom of heaven. What should we be focusing on? Changing, repenting, being better men and women of the Lord, being examples to the flock, going out and doing the works of the Lord, right? Trying to be in that number of the elect. And if you don't make it, man, do your work to try to help seal the elect. That's why we're hopeful that we're elect, making our calling sure. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Verse 2, set your affection on things above, not things on the earth. So don't get so entrapped and emaciated with what everybody else is doing. Remember, even Christ told us, wide is the gate that leads to destruction, narrow is the way that leadeth to life. Where everybody's doing, everybody's caught up in, that ain't it. That ain't it. Are there topical things that need to be discussed? You jump in there, you deal with them. I'd be a hypocrite if I said that I don't deal with. No, the scriptures say that a man that keeps the commandment is going to be occupied in prophecy. So we have to be looking at prophecy. We got to be paying attention. The scriptures say, be not ignorant of any matter, small or great. You just have to know how to temper how much you're getting involved in, what you're paying attention to, and how much you're not. Because eventually, once you start seeing what's really going on, then you can go out and you can pump the brakes and say, man, I'm off this train, man. Because I see I'm helping the beast system create more distraction. I'm helping the beast system by feeding into things that's not in our best interest. Because the more that this becomes more publicized and erratic, the more they're doing on the back end. It's sleight of hand type stuff. Never let the right hand know what the left is doing. That type of thing, magician type stuff. There was was it in I think it was Inspector Gadget. Inspector Gadget and the secret I'm aging myself. Some of y'all was there too. I thought that was the name of the thing. I thought the name of the Dr. Claw. See, I should have looked at this earlier. I could have sworn. Maybe I'm off. Let's see. Let's see. Run with me for a second, y'all. Spread together, lady. Blah, 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 blah. Cyborg police. Oh, it was mad, huh? I could have sworn chaos was. Yeah, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. My memory ain't as good with the old kid cartoons that I grew up watching. But there's some organization called Chaos, and some. No, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I am tripping. Anyway, now see, I'm distracted now. See, now I'm distracted. Let's get back. Cause see what I was thinking about is, you know, they're creating the chaos all around us. They're watching and creating the everything burning. It's almost like, they light the house on fire and then they run out. They commit an arson, right? And then the first one's yelling, hey, there's a fire over there. There's a fire over there. Somebody help them people. Somebody not. And everybody go run to the fire. Meanwhile, they going in, breaking into your house, stealing everything out your house and your neighbor house and everybody else's house, and they get away scot free because everybody ran to the fire and left their houses unlocked. All right, this is the type of stuff that they out here doing, man. I just want my peoples, man, to recognize and see really what's going on, right? And not to get caught in the obsession. Philippians 4:6 the way. Be careful for nothing. So most of us say, man, you ain't got to be all paranoid and all that, and so don't worry about nothing, right? But in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto the Most High, and the peace of the Most High, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Hamashiach Yahushua, right? So we've got to make sure that our hearts and minds are passing through Christ. All understanding is going to come through him. The peace of the Most High is going to come through there, right? Because they're getting ready to use all of this for civil unrest, race wars, the whole nine. But somebody, when all hell is breaking loose, cooler heads prevail. That's what they say, right? Let's read verse 8. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. So we've got an objective. We know what we should be focusing in on, right? And still keeping it in the perspective of, needing to understand and know what's going on in the world, the things that and how it's affecting our people, what things are prophetic, being watchmen to our people. Those things are necessary. But you gotta know that there are some things that we get latched onto that is pulling us into a direction that is causing more confusion, more chaos, more distractions. And then we're caught in this whole loop and this whole matrix too, right? So let's get to it. Here's a famous, this one of my favorite clips. Rahm Emanuel. He used to be in Obama's government cabinet. Used to be a mayor in he's either mayor or a senator in Chicago. But this is from 2008.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before. I think America...
You want to hear that one more time? Some of y'all heard this before. We're going to play it again. when I play this, keep this in mind of what we just talked about, because this is how they think.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Now, listen, it says, he said, never let a crisis go to waste, because it's an opportunity to do things that you thought you could not do before. This is how they use 9/11 as an opportunity to change laws and change ways, right? All things that strip freedoms, created a greater surveillance system, had everybody imagining in their minds that Ishmael was sand niggas and they was trying to steal our freedoms, and they was over there with weapons of mass destruction. Hold on, by the time the covers fully came off and you finally got to see what you was looking at, you was like, hold on, the emperor's got no clothes. This was a lie. Too late. World changed. Everything that moved into effect. Oh, Outbreak 2019 had a name for it. Had everybody shook to death. Operation Warp Speed made everybody get poked in their arms. Told them, if you don't do it, you're going to lose your job. If you don't do it, you're going to be demonized. You don't do it, you can't visit your grandma in the hospital no more. You don't do it, you can't have social gatherings no more. You can't do 6 feet, wash your hand, all this other stuff. Total control. Economies crashing. Businesses then got lost. Banks come in buying up homes and businesses, pennies on the dollar after everybody lost everything. But guess what? New mandates was coming around. They was even telling you that this is the new normal. So these particular crises, they said, never let them go to waste, because it's opportunities to do things that you thought you couldn't get over. How else was you going to be able to get NSA spying on people, right? How else are we going to get the Patriot Act passed? If it wasn't for 9/11 and the lies about weapons, WMDs and everything else, right? How else can you have a quote unquote war on drugs and coming down with harsh drug laws and locking our people up and planting dope on people, and then talking about you got a war on drugs and bombing fish boats in Venezuela, saying that they shipping dope over here from Venezuela to start a war in the Caribbean? I mean, what are we talking about? They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I think America.
You think America, right? Look, well, here we go. Look, J.D. Vance instructs Americans to tell on bosses of people celebrating the murder of Charlie Kirk, call their employer. Look at this. Vice President J.D. Vance passionately urged Americans to call the employers of the terrorist sympathizers. So this is where it gets dangerous, and this is how you see people getting fired, people standing out. And a lot of times you see some people just trying to go viral. They just don't, they doing too much with the extras about, this cat getting put to death. But here they go calling them terrorist sympathizers. But in his own words, he said, I hate empathy, man. Like, don't sit back and sympathize with this. So if somebody has an extreme edge on how they taking his death, that should be protected under the First Amendment. You may not like it. It's not bringing harm to anybody. But if that's an opinion of somebody, then that's just what it is. But see how now that's being transformed into, that's a terrorist thought. That's terrorist activity. That's not First Amendment protected now. You understand? You see, this is how you're going to get an Amos 8 and 11 about how there'd be a famine of the word in the land and all these other things. Because eventually, they're not going to allow our stance on things scripturally, biblically, so forth and so on, because that's going to be considered extreme. That's going to be considered terroristic. That's going to be considered seditious, right? So they're saying call the bosses, man. And then you got some dummies, man, probably using their company computers to, type their messages on X or make their Instagram posts and doing, they're at home working from home using the company computer. And then you going on there and you wonder why you got fired. And they like, hey, you done used our company computer to spread this particular narrative and your own little personal messages, you're out of here. You're having your little water cooler discussions with your co-workers, and y'all having this little powwow, and you think you're having a friendly little debate and discussion about, Tom over here. He's talking about how he's mourning Charlie's death, and you're talking about, hey, I don't really feel he deserved it, man. I mean, or whatever you're saying. And then Tom goes to Uncle Charlie and says, hey, no pun intended. Hey man, Jerome was over there talking ill about Charlie. Man, he was saying he was deserved and all this other stuff, and I feel very uncomfortable in here. Black outrage, nigga outrage is and Uncle Charlie gonna say, Jerome, come in my office. Yeah, we're going to let you go, man. You're expressing hate speech, man. Your coworkers are now feeling threatening, and you saying, well, what? We just had a discussion, man. We were just talking at the water cooler, man, on our break. Like what? No more freedom? Said, no. Look around. Read the room, man. You're out of here. JD Vance, the vice president, told us we can do this now. Vance shared his thoughts on how to handle people who mocked the conservative activist after he was shot and killed in Utah last week during a scorched earth rant at the end of the Charlie Kirk show, which he was hosting on Rumble on Monday. So, your co-workers, man, that you're saying, yeah, here's our YouTube, check us out. Yeah. All praises. Hopefully you'll check us out. People stumble on your pages and all that. Oh, this is what y'all talking about? Yeah, I'm going to report this. And you wonder why they telling you don't come in to work on Monday. Or tomorrow's a Sabbath, but you don't come in on Tuesday. We'll mail you your check. No, you ain't got to worry about your personal items and all that. Yeah, we'll back them up and we'll also mail that to you. Look at this. When you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer, Vance said. We don't believe in political violence. Oh, no? Oh, you don't? What's going on with the two boats that got bombed over there in Venezuela, huh? How about those? You don't believe in political violence. Well, how about what's going on in Ukraine, the bombings and going on over there? How about Iran that you bombed? What are you talking about? That's all political violence. But let's knock it out. How about operating fast and furious with the gun running under Obama? Was that political violence? Did that contribute to the drug war? See, white men speak with forked tongue always. Look, we don't believe in political violence, but we do believe in civility. And there is no civility in the celebration of a political assassination. I mean, come on, man. Charlie Kirk spoke ill of George Floyd after he was dead, after he got put to death. We'll get to that in a minute. I mean, they can say stuff you can't say. They can celebrate your death, my death, our people's death, our leaders' death, our community martyrs. But as soon as one of their little heroes die, it's a problem. Sotomayor, good old Justice Sotomayor, man, she been barking loud lately, speaking on what she's seeing on the inside of the Supreme Court and where they're going with this. She been talking about they're gonna be coming at the free speech since Agent Orange got in office. Her and Ketanji Brown. Sotomayor rebukes calls to criminalize free speech and the parents wiper Pam Bondi. The justice in public remarks did name the attorney general, who has come under fire for comments to target people over hate speech. Yeah, see that? The attorney general, Pam Bondi, Blondie, right? She's talking about targeting people over hate speech, man. They talking about locking you up. Yeah, this is all 1984 type stuff, man. The Ministry of Truth gonna tell you what's true, what's not. They changing history, the whole nine. Do y'all remember that? Because we gonna talk about that too. We see. let's see how they're playing this out. I remember this, right? Ministry of Truth, like the other three ministries, has an ironic name. This is from the book 1984, George Orwell. They got a movie as well. You might be able to catch it on Amazon. But yeah, it purports to be focused on the pursuit of truth. In fact, the ministry is concerned with erasing the truth of the past. Keep that in mind as we continue on today, because we've already seen Agent Orange running through the Smithsonian, trying to change the history regarding slavery and the oppressions of blacks and so forth and so on, trying to erase those things, erasing the truth of the past and present and replacing it with whatever the party deems correct. Those in charge of the ministry decide what the truth is. Truth is stranger than fiction. No pun intended, right? Look at this. The ministry of truth is a misnomer. It's misnamed as those within its walls actually serve the opposite purpose, to falsify history and the present in order to suit the beliefs and intentions of the party. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. This is the motto, slogans of the party. Now, if you're thinking about this, didn't Agent Orange come in and say that he was going to be the president of peace? He was going to come in and end all the wars. Meanwhile, he's ignited more wars. He's been involved with more bombings. I mean, what are we talking about? Do you see that? War is peace. He said he's going to stop the Ukraine-Russia war within 24 hours. That thing is still going on. He's had quote-unquote peace treaty meetings and ceasefires that are coming to naught. Rubbing elbows and getting bent over by the small hats over there as they're committing genocide. The UN it came out and said, hey, they're committing genocide over here, man. Somebody got to do something about this. Our investigators then came to the conclusion they're committing genocide. We got to stop this. And ain't nobody making a move. Bombing on Gaza, bombing in Qatar, bombing Iran, which America jumped in on. Still over there funding and selling weapons to Ukraine. You understand what I'm saying? Igniting war with Venezuela. Still got secret missions and operations jumping off over there in African, or under African, but in Africa, I should say. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. They're telling everybody, oh, he's the most liberal president. He was for the people. He's going to change things. Slow Biden had us under slavery under the COVID rules and da 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 da. And meanwhile, he's jumping in here saying, look, late night talk show host made a joke about, Charlie's passing. He's fired indefinitely. Agent Orange jumped on the bandwagon. He said, hey, look, good job, but now I want all the hosts fired. I want all them shows canceled. Now he's trying to control the media, comedians, what you can say, can't say. His Attorney General, Pam Blondie, she's out here talking about we got to target hate speech. Vice President saying, man, if you see something, say something. Call the job, get them fired. We're not taking this. You don't like what we're saying. You don't like how this thing is moving. Get out the way. Targeting people just based upon their appearance, racially profiling. Northern Tribe brothers, man, creating FEMA camps, locking people up, and trying to say, well, they're making America great again. That's supposed to be freedom, right? How is that going to be encompassed by enacting forms of slavery, man? Alligator, Alcatraz, the whole nine, man. Ignorance is strength, man. They got everybody dumbed down, locked into the so-called smartphones that are making us dumber, right? The crystal ball, doom scrolling every minute. If you ain't doom scrolling, you're ignorant. You're caught up in watching a whole bunch of folly, right? Meanwhile, you're thinking, I got the iPhone 17. I got the best thing on the market now. Strength. That's more ignorance. Slow down. Okay? This is where we're at. Now, they're calling it. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor appeared to take aim at recent remarks by Attorney General Pam Bondi, vowing to, quote, target anyone who uses, quote, hate speech following the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. I mean, where was the hate speech at, man, when George Floyd got killed, Michael Brown got killed, Corinne Gaines got killed? I mean, so-called whites is out there, man, celebrating, doing their thing. Let's keep it real. Trayvon Martin, when he got put to death, man, I mean, they was selling hoodies. George Zimmerman made millions of dollars off of it. I mean, what are we talking about, man? See, the rules is not the same for you or me. See, there's free speech and then there's hate speech, and there's no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. Okay, that name is, I can't speak it anymore. I've heard it enough. Now, notice this is a video. I think came around 2015, right? Just remember what J.D. Vance said, and you got to remember what Rahm Emanuel said. Never let a crisis go to waste, because there's an opportunity to do things you thought you wouldn't be able to do before. Now, 10 years ago, they were running PSA ads saying, if you see something, say something. Now they're prosecuting, violating, firing anybody based upon you tattletelling.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer. I'm a barber.
A waitress. A mom.
We're all part of your community. Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good,
Others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty, something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments.
Oh, someone's behavior, something doesn't seem quite right. Oh, you're not on the bandwagon. You're not following along with the deify and love and cry and moan and bewail the passing of CK. Oh, you've got a radical approach. Oh, you're one of those. Hey, I don't like that. I might have to report you.
Take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
Pattern. Maybe you're in the hate group. Maybe you. You see.
We trust our instincts.
Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Just like they got the sign out there, they're posting it up at bus stops and soon to be billboards. LA versus hate. Report. Call 211 immediately. You see something, say something. You see how now they're capitalizing, they're weaponizing, they are not letting a good crisis go to waste. They were advertising saying this 10 years ago, and now they're able to do it. See, white man's patient, man. He is patient. You know, when the scriptures say, man, be sober, be vigilant in 1 Peter 5:8. Your adversary, the devil, walketh about like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour you. If you ever watch Animal Kingdom, Animal Planet, and you watch how the lions hunt in packs, and you see how they slowly creep and wait for that right moment to pounce. I mean, they're patient hunters. They don't just go out randomly just chasing everything and tire themselves out, because they got one shot to really get you. And they take their time, they prowl, they sniff out, they hunt, they're watching. And as soon as that gazelle or that antelope or whatever turns it, blinks, it's gone. So they've been waiting for this for a long time. They said 10 years, okay, it takes 10 years for us to implement this and have people feel comfortable doing it. Remember, it slowly but surely got implemented in, and people started getting accustomed to it during the COVID era. Remember that? You remember that? People, are you? Did you get your shot? You did. Oh, what are you doing here? Hey, you don't have a mask on. I'm gonna have to tell somebody. Remember that? It became second nature to quote unquote snitch. Now it's even in the hip hop community, urban community, it's always been that way. Especially if you come up in the hood, you come in a particular environment, quote unquote snitching is forbidden in certain circles. Now it's big going on the internet, and exposing this rapper. Oh, he's been a snitch. Oh, this guy's a snitch. Oh, this guy ain't been real. He's been working with the feds. He's working with the cop. Hey, notice a lot of this has all been happening over the last 4 or 5 years because now it's become the norm to see something, say something. So it's a gradual thing that they started implementing. It's a term called gradualism. Even when it comes down to, chemical and biological warfare, they got things called soft kill or slow kill. Could be something that infects you, but it may take 5-10 years, to actually come up and take you out. And the trail is so clean that you would never think that it was because of, an injection that you got 5 years ago. Could have been because you ate something 5 years ago, inhaled something, you don't know. But it takes a little time to simmer, bubble, and then eventually explode. So the same thing with this. 10 years ago, they planted the seed. Next thing you know, 5 years after that, they're going through with it. Now it's going to become mandated damn near by law. Look at this. Trump's threat to target radical left after Kirk killing raises fears he's trying to silence his foes. So yeah, they're saying that he's utilizing this particular opportunity to go after his political opponents, right? Anybody on the quote unquote radical left, he wants to indict, bring up on charges, targeting all of his particular opposition, digging up their old records, anything. See, this has now became a moment to where they don't let a good crisis go to waste. Now they can run around and do these things, and who's going to say, "Hey, you can't do that"? Oh, what? You're celebrating the death of CK2? What kind of heartless individual are you? Oh, okay, calm down. I wasn't. No, it's not like that. I'm just saying, you're kind of moving outside of the realms of the law. Hey, I'm just trying to make things peaceful again. I'm just trying to clear these streets up. I'm trying to get rid of all of the radicals and the hate groups, man. Are you with them or not? Well, no, I don't want hate groups either. Okay, then. Well, let me do what I need to do. All right, well, just leave me and mine alone. All right, deal. That's how they be operating, man. Look at this. They're redefining domestic terrorists, the whole nine. This is when what was it? 2016, 2017, when they redefined and included so-called blacks as identity extremists. You wanting to know and understand your identity now is considered extreme. Y'all remember that? What year was that? I want to say 2016, 2017. That the Department of Homeland Security had that. (2017). There you go. In the U.S., black identity extremist was a designation used by the FBI from August 2017 to July 2019. It first appeared in a counterterrorism report dated August 3rd, 2017, sent to thousands of American police departments that described safety concerns about alleged violent African-American activists. See that? Black identity extremists. They can just label that on you and then say that you're an extremist. So how long is it going to be before you're a radical Bible reader, right? You hold extremist views of the word of the Most High, right? And the stance that you've got seems a little racially biased. We don't like that. Yeah, we've got many reports too about you guys. Yeah, we've been watching the YouTube, we've seen the TikToks, we see the Instagrams. Yeah, we've been watching y'all for a while. We just couldn't move on it yet because you guys were still under the First Amendment and everything else. But now that's changing. Right? 47, Agent 47, Orange Bang done told us. Now we can get you. Same way they doing with immigration. Remember he said get creative. Now they're saying, oh, they can racially profile. You spell broken English. Hey, that's enough to detain you. They're rolling around. I got some pictures. I was taking a walk a couple of days ago, and I was walking down this alley, and I see all these plainclothes, cops out. They got the vests on, and every car that they had in that alley was unmarked. They ride minivans. They've got just regular cars, Ford pickup trucks. It had to be about 5 of them in this alley. And you see, the only reason why you know it's them because they outside. And I thought it was ICE, but a couple of them had DEA on their vests. The other ones didn't have. I couldn't see no other alphabet organization associated with them. And they had a Northern Kingdom sister on the ground with had to be her 2 daughters. One of the daughters, man, I felt so bad for her. She's sitting there praying that they get up out of there or something. I don't know what she was praying, but she knew it was trouble. And and she couldn't have been more than maybe 10. And then she had another little girl with her that was, couldn't have been more than maybe 3. And the 10-year-old had a 3-year-old under her, and she praying, and the mama sitting there. I said, either this is ICE or they got busted with some dope or something. But all the cars was unmarked. And then I walked through the alley. I'm taking pictures of them as I'm walking through. They let me walk through. I go back out on the street. I see another stop on the street, and it's another like 5 police cars. But this time it's sheriffs, and they got the unmarked cars, and they got another Northern Kingdom cat. They shaking him down. So I'm like, either this some ICE raids or this was some big old drugs thing that I don't know what's going on. But I feel bad for that little girl because she about to get swept away, and who knows where they finna send her and the little sister. But she was sitting there praying like a mug, hoping that she can get up. They can get up out of there. But it's just showing you how they moving now. Low key, undercover. That none of them cars had lights on it or nothing. They jumped out the damn minivans and all this stuff, right? So things are changing on how and what is acceptable and not acceptable anymore. And there's not a lot of pushback. Supreme Court ain't doing nothing about it. They try to stand up to them. They back down. The only one speaking out is Sotomayor. And other than that, everybody else is on code. So know that times is changing. Without establishing any link to last week's shooting, the Republican president and members of his administration have discussed classifying some groups as domestic terrorists. See, that's the goal. As long as they can redefine what a domestic terrorist is, they can consider Israelites a domestic terrorist group, which they will do. Right? Among all the other groups. But remember, that's what the Psy-Op is. It targets government organizations, groups, etc. Right? Ordering racketeering investigations and revoking tax-exempt status for progressive nonprofits. Right? Yeah, so they've attacked George Soros and You notice now he's declared Antifa a terrorist organization. Where are we at? 119. Okay, we're all right with time. Antifa, he's declared them as a terrorist organization now. You know, it's only a matter of time before they can just immediately slap the label on anybody as they redefine what it is. Because the Ministry of Truth decides what the truth is. 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 4, it's 5. They'll tell you whatever. I got a video of a sister. I'm gonna do a little side note DSM on this. Yeah, but as I spoke of that, it's a sister getting interviewed by an Edomite, and the Edomite just said, "All right," and I guess she was trying to play fake intellectual. I don't know what she was trying to do. Esau said, "Man, does 2 plus 2 equal 4?" And she was like, "Well, that depends," because she went on this whole diatribe trying to break down how 2 plus 2 might not equal 4. I said, I can't believe it. This is 1984 for real. And she just trying to be on her stubborn black woman stuff, thinking she being smart and just sounding dumb as hell. I got to show that to y'all. But I'm going to do it on another note because we're living in inverted reality, man. And you talk about the bizarro world and all that, it's real. It's here. Let's continue on. Let's move on. George Zinn, elderly rabble rouser who falsely claimed he shot Charlie Kirk, is hit with child warrant charges. If y'all remember when CK first got sniped, they said that they had the suspect in custody. It was an old man, and he was on the ground yelling, I did it, right? Now, how the hell did he do it when the trajectory of the projectile came from an elevated position, so forth and so on? He's on the ground in the midst of a crowd. They snatch him up. It already looked kind of like, get the hell out of here. This old dude did it. No weapon on him, no nothing. But they snatched him up because he was immediately taking the blame, right? So this is either one or two things. They hitting him because he said that he did it to help the real assassin get away, like stalling to give him some time. So since they really had no charges on him, they had to let him go. But guess what? Boom. Magically, all of a sudden, he gets hit with holding on to some stuff he shouldn't have on his phone. Was it planted? Are they setting him up? Who knows? But this guy, George Zinn, come to find out, is a provocateur. See how this is all kind of, starting to smell a little fishy, man? We'll get to that in a second. Look at this. The elderly rabble rouser who allegedly hindered Utah authorities' response after Charlie Kirk was fatally shot is now accused of keeping graphic sexual photos of children on his phone, according to law enforcement. George Zinn, 71, was charged with 4 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor Monday after investigators found more than 20 images of kids as young as 5 years old, at least partially naked and posing in a sexual way, the Utah County Sheriff's Office said in the news released Tuesday. Now, did he do it? Does he have it on the phone? Probably so, man. The scripture said, man, lest there be any fornicator, as he saw. So old dude probably was a damn PDF file. But ironically, all of a sudden, he said, he admitted that he gets gratified by viewing explicit images of children. Man. So this guy's all over the place. Mental case for real, let alone a prevert. Pedophile. Now look at this. Here you go. Now let's look at his background, though. George Zinn just happened to be in a documentary about 9/11. That's case one about his history of being a provocateur and always on the scene when some madness goes on. Distraction. 2013, he was charged with bomb threats at a marathon in the aftermath of the Boston bombing. Remember the Boston bombing? At the marathon, Boston Marathon, and the bomb went off. They caught the 2 little Arab kids. I think it was Arab. I forgot what nationality it was, or ethnicity there was. But yeah. He was there and didn't have bomb threats at the marathon. Now what else? He claims to have run interference for Charlie Kirk's murder. This week, he's being brought up on PDF file charges. So he's got a history of getting involved with particular operations. While the development stunned the public questioning the scope of Zinn's involvement in the shooting, those familiar with him understand the charges are the most recent chapter in a decades-long saga chronicling his volatile behavior and political activism. For nearly 40 years, Zinn has cultivated a reputation across Utah as an agent provocateur on the fringes of the Republican Party by being arrested dozens of times, including arrests for his behavior at political demonstrations. So this guy is known for being a agent provocateur at dozens of different rallies and political demonstrations. Man, this is what he's known for. He's a distraction. And he was used in that scenario to provide distraction so that they can carry out what they did. Okay? Now, while his reputation is unbeknownst to a nation whose eyes are transfixed on each development in the investigation into the Kirk assassination, the examination of Zinn's decades-long track record raises serious questions about how he fits into the emerging narrative, hyper-focused on the role of militant leftists in the shooting. So something ain't right. Here's the transcripts of the text messages between the so-called assassin and his transmission boyfriend. You know, now they're saying, oh, this was he was doing it to avenge the hate that came out of CK's mouth regarding the Transformer community and the flurry community. You know, the flurries of these damn weirdos who adopt animal characteristics, man, and claim that they're animals. Listen, man. I don't know if y'all seen this. I'm not gonna read too much of these particular text messages. They're online. You can find them. There's a lot of people already when I heard it and read this, I was like, this don't sound right. This sounds fake. It's so ironic that the FBI releases out damn near immediately. Oh, we got this, we got that. Here, we're gonna share the text messages with everybody. So there's no doubt this guy is guilty. They're not talking in the quote-unquote language of 21, 22-year-olds. You know, nowadays, who's writing whole paragraphs, man? I don't see no damn text shorthand script, you know, the LOLs, the LAMO, whatever, all the damn acronyms that they got now. I think they did it one time or within the conversation. Other than that, I mean, he's damn near admitting to everything to the sodomite roommate. I mean, it's just completely hard to believe that this is conversation. I'll be asking my kids sometimes, like, what the hell did you type text? I got to figure it out sometimes. But this is what it is. Like, there ain't nobody in this age bracket, the age group, texting talking like this. So this is already suspicious as well. FBI releases this out. I mean, this is supposed to be evidence, but they release evidence out to the public. Where do they do that at? Will that be admissible in court now that has been, you know, put out to the public? I mean, let's knock it off, man. You got agent provocateurs running around in there. Something ain't right. But let's continue on. How do they not let a good crisis go to waste? Look what's going on. The UC schools here in California are getting upgraded military weapons now at the school institutions. You know, what else do they call institutions? You got mental institutions, right? You've got prison institutions. You've got university, college institutions. See how that works? This is still just another form of mental control in these school systems, right? But now they're getting the same thing. They're getting military grade weapons now to control these institutions as well. So the mental institutions, you're going to have some heavy security. The system of incarceration, those institutions got heavy security. Now, in the name of we're trying to save and protect the kids at school, we need to have the campus police get militarized at UC campuses. See, they wouldn't be able to do that any other way, any other time, but hey, we can't let a good crisis go to waste, man. Utah State, thank you for your sacrifice. We're going to go ahead on and make sure that everything else becomes more of a police state. University of California Police will be replenishing and increasing their stockpile of military-grade weapons and equipment, including drones, bullets, and thousands of pepper ball rounds as part of an annual request approved Wednesday by the governing border agents. An annual request. Every year they're asking for this, but guess what? They couldn't get it until, hey, now we got proof why we need it. UCLA is going to get it, Irvine, UC Santa Barbara, UC San Diego, and San Francisco. Ask for more weapons. While those in Berkeley, Davis, Merced, Riverside, and Santa Cruz did not seek to make new purchases. So, here they go. Meanwhile, at least 8 troops are punished for social media comments about CK's death. See that? Troopers getting that's what I'm saying. You messing around and they using the damn company's computers, or even if you're using your own little text message and you talking amongst your fellow officers and all that other stuff, and they're friends with you on your Facebook, and they see them, they're snitching on you. Oh, did you see Johnson's post? No, what'd he say? Hey, look at this. Talking crazy about Kirk, man. Oh, hell no. I'm going to the sergeant. No, man, it's innocent. No, that ain't right. Yeah, you're right. Go ahead and report him. 8 troops. They getting hit, right? All on their social media accounts. Isn't it supposed to be yours? Isn't that supposed to be your own private, social media? You can do what you want. It's my page, my channel. No, it's not. No, it's not. See that? Look at this. Fact check. Charlie Kirk called George Floyd a, quote, scumbag. He can talk about the dead, though. He can call him a scumbag. He can desecrate his memory. I mean, regardless of what you could say about George Floyd, he was still father, son, mother, brother, etc. Did he live a quote unquote perfect life? No. But what the hell does that got to do with Charlie Kirk? Who asked him for his opinion? Who said that he can go out there and just speak ill of this man and call him out of his name after he's already dead? And they said, oh, it's in the context of when he was alive, he wasn't a good guy. He had an arrest record. Oh, he had drugs on him. But that qualifies him to speak on him after he's dead. See? Now look at this. Kirk made a statement in reference to Floyd's alleged criminal history and the circumstances surrounding his death. See, his criminal history, that had nothing to do with how that man died. His criminal history had nothing. He got harassed from coming out the dang store in so-called failure to comply, knee to the neck, put to death, amongst many others before him. Fernando Castile, Corinne Gaines, Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, the list goes on and on. And now white men come out and say, hey, this guy was a scumbag anyway. And like, what? While his mama is still alive, you gonna got the nerve to speak on him like that? See, this is the type of stuff. And then, but guess what? You say one thing about him, about your opinion about him, his politics, his ideology, his theology, anything. Oh, you're under watch. You can get reported. You can get fired. See, this is the type of things we talk about. This is the same stuff he was saying didn't exist. There is no white privilege. There is no all that, like what? But let him clarify. He said, I'm also going to offer some context. You shouldn't even have to say anything in context if you wasn't saying anything disparaging. See, this is what we just got to reading about in Proverbs 6. This is the forwardness as well. We can't be governed. He going out just shooting out the mouth, whatever he want to say. I'm also going to offer some context and some nuance about the death of George Floyd, and that no one dares to say out loud, which is that this guy was a scumbag. Now, does that mean he deserves to die? That's two totally different things. Of course not. So you can't clean that up. See, but he can say stuff like that, right? Now, look at this. They asked the chump during an interview, because they're deifying Charlie Kirk. They said, man, they what he say? He's gonna they're talking about doing a something like a Charlie Kirk Day statue. Drop the flag at half mast, and now Trump was asked in the interview about, well, hold on, we just had a Democratic state lawmaker in Minnesota, Melissa Hartman, and her husband got shot to death a couple months ago. You didn't do that for them. What's that about? Let's see what he said.
Do you think it would have been fitting to lower the flags to half-staff when Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin as well?
I'm not familiar. The
Minnesota.
Did you? The guy didn't even know who she was. Why? Because she was Democrat, right? But see, that's how they bang. Like the Republicans, they don't care about what happened to the Democrats. That was an op, as they say. He said, who? I don't recall. What are you talking about? Yeah, to a government official and her husband gunned down. White on white crime. And he said, who? What? This is worse than slow Biden.
Do you think it would have been fitting to lower the flags to half-staff when Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota House Speaker, was gunned down by an assassin as well?
I'm not familiar. The
Minnesota House Speaker, a Democrat, was assassinated this summer.
Well,
see, it kicked in when she said a Democrat. You see how he's already looking around and he's like, who are we talking about? Who? And then when she says a Democrat, he says, okay. An op? Yeah, let me give you an answer on that.
I'm not familiar. The
Minnesota House Speaker, a Democrat, was assassinated this summer.
Well, if the governor had asked me to do that, I would have done that. But the governor of Minnesota didn't ask me. I didn't. I wouldn't have thought of that.
He wouldn't have thought about that. He said, hey, well, I'm not going to honor her. I'm not going to honor her, whatever. It's the Minnesota governor's job to ask him. Who asked for Charlie Kirk? Did anybody? So that he can do that? Or did he do it on his own? Or are they not letting a good crisis go to waste? Are they going to juice this until there's nothing left? Look at this guy, man.
But I would have, if somebody had asked me, people make requests for the lowering of flag, and oftentimes you have to say no because it would be a lot of lowering. The flag would never be up. Had the governor of Minnesota asked me to do that, I would have done that gladly.
Trump says if Governor Walz had asked him to lower the flags after Melissa and Mark Hortman's murder, that he would have. And when I asked the president on Air Force One if he planned to call the governor, he told me he thought it would be a waste of time.
I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling him. Why would I call him? He's a mess. So, I could be nice.
See, he got no problem banging on his
But why waste time?
That is exactly what we do not need in this terrible moment in the country when people are fearful, when they are.
And there's been judges that ain't got smoked, lawmakers ain't got smoked within the last year and a half, right? They not honoring them in no form or fashion. How about David Rose?
Do you think it would have been fitting to lower?
Where's my brother at David Rose? Because they not honoring David Rose either. Did y'all hear about David Rose? David Rose, the cop that got killed over there in the CDC shooting last month, defending. Look at it. Committed to serving master, man. Georgia officer killed while responding to a shooting near CDC headquarters identified. This is the shooting that we talked about last month. David Rose, 33, shot and killed while responding to the shooting Friday afternoon, the department said. Right? Emory University. This is brother. There you go. Was the flags dropped at half staff for him? This guy was going to go protect a state university, let alone near the CDC, another government office, protecting and committed to serving the whole nine, died on the job, got shot violently, same way that CK did, and guess what? He don't get nothing. There's no community outcry. Where are we talking about? A courageous local law enforcement officer gave their life and another was injured after a gunman opened fire on at least 4 CDC buildings, she said in the statement. DeKalb County Police, CDC Security, and Emory University responded immediately and decisively, helping to prevent further harm to our staff and community. Brother went and sacrificed himself for boss, and you don't hear nothing about it now. They just put him to rest like earlier this week, I think, or last week, or could have been a little sooner than that. And he got the officer's burial from his department and all that. But where's the national outcry for a brother man who went over there and laid his life on the line for that? That's a martyr for the country, not some podcast, college debater. But when you're weaponizing and using his death as a weapon and a Psy-Op, it's a whole nother game. Y'all see how that works? Yeah, this damn idiot said, "Who? I don't know what you're talking about." Unbelievable. Now look, why Trump privately fumed. Now this is what I'm saying. Now that side was done, I think I'm kind of done talking about CK, man. I got him out my system. Won't be talking about him no more unless something, drastically changes in his new airway. Some wild scandal that then came out, or some conspiracy that got proven correct. That I'm not going to be speaking no more on it because there's other things going on. Look at this. Trump privately fumes about Ned not a Jew, but gives him free reign. Why is he fuming about not a Jew, but continually gives him free reign? Look what they said in private. He's saying he's effing me. U.S. president said of the Israeli prime minister after strikes on Hamas in Qatar. This is only showing, and this is a Wall Street Journal article, that America is being controlled, puppeteered, and Agent Orange is admitting that he's getting hit with no Vaseline by Benjamin not a Jew, right? And allowing the small hats to wreak havoc in the Middle East. And they're going to be the causes of America being drug into World War III. All praise. But it's on record. They're saying this is what he's saying privately and behind closed doors, how he's not liking how he's got to bend over for the small hats. Take that to the bank. Let's continue. See, I thought I was over with. I thought I got him out. I still got a little bit more. Look, Senate passes National Day of Remembrance for CK. See, I talked about that before. This is how foolish this is how it's getting. Look at this. The candles, the flags, the crosses, the whole nine, the picture. You've seen all the little viral, and that had to been fake, man. I'm saying it's AI. All them people, man, worldwide marching, millions in the streets talking about I am Charlie Kirk. I mean, it was ridiculous. I said, this has got to be fake. When you can have 1-800 rent a crowd and all that now, I mean, something's got to be at play here. I refuse to believe that was real. See, I was going to talk about, but all right.
Charlie feels the need to add
Shout out to this brother, Mr. Too Slippery X. I don't know how to rewind this on Instagram. You can't really, but he's addressing some viral things that Charlie Kirk spoke about regarding Black crime and incarceration numbers, and he went to show that he was
therefore, as in one could conclude, but
let me see if I can get it to play from the beginning. I don't know how they. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we'll do it this way. All right, here we go.
Yes, but half of all prisoners are black. Exactly. So blacks commit more crimes than whites do. They commit more murders, they commit more arsons, they commit more kidnappings. For example, blacks are 13% of the population and they commit 58% of all the murders.
Okay, let's talk about it. These are obviously racist claims, but I will respond to them as if Charlie Kirk were a reason.
And clearly, if he's not a quote unquote racist, he's got an obsession with black folks, obviously. Because if the first thing that comes to his mind is what he thinks about a black pilot, that's a problem. If he thinks that he's masquerading the plight of black people, talking about how bad we're living in crime-ridden and this, that, and the third, it's because there's no black fathers, and that's a problem for you guys, and he's obsessed with it. But what would you call it? Because the negative fashion that he speaks can only lead to one conclusion. That at best, he's a white nationalist / separatist, if you don't want to accept the term racist, but clearly he's for his own, which I got no problem with.
Reasonable person.
Black Americans are about 13 to 14% of the population. Yes, but half of all prisoners are black.
Wrong. Just 38% of America's prison population is black. That's according to the U.S. government. But it makes you wonder why Charlie feels the need to add an additional 12% to the black prison population. Could it be because his bigoted talking points only work if he exaggerates? If Charlie were actually looking for the race that makes up half the prison population in the U.S., he'd look no further than white people at 57%.
So blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
Wrong.
Yeah, wrong, right? And I just want to look at this real quick. He said blacks commit more crimes than whites. Now, what he's trying to play is the numbers game as far as per capita, right? Doesn't even matter. That's still a lie. This is 2019, and I'm sure these stats ain't got too much, it hasn't been too much change going on within the last 6 years. Probably could have gotten worse. Let's just look real quick. We're talking total arrests. Now, mind you, this is from the FBI statistics. FBI.gov. So not IQ/.org, right? Total crimes in 2019 was 6.8 million. How many of that 6.8 million was committed by white folks? 4.7 million. He said that blacks commit more crimes than whites. I can't tell. I don't care if you're talking about, well, there's more white people, then that means you're committing more crimes because there's more of you. What are you talking about? 4.7 million crimes committed by white folks, 1.8 by black people, 164,000 by American Indian, Alaskan, Asians. They don't even have Hispanics on here. Oh, here it goes over here. 1.1 million by Hispanics. Okay, now that's just total crimes, period. Now, Murder or non-negligent manslaughter. Whites 3,650. Blacks 4,078. So that's a difference of maybe about 350, 400, 400. Still a lot of numbers, but barely more than. He says blacks commit more murders. Like, we're just heinously out here slaughtering and killing everybody that we see. Not the case. Who's raping more? Oh, 11,588 to 4,000 for blacks, huh? You're high on the hog with rape, robbery. Okay, Jake robs a little bit more than them. How about aggravated assault? The numbers, it don't even compare. Aggravated assault, 169,000 to only 91,000 for blacks. Burglary. Oh, theft, huh? 81,000 to 34,000. Larceny and theft, 393,000 to 178,000. Who's committing more crimes again? Oh, motor theft. We know the so-called white man is a thief. Hold on. So-called white man is a thief, man. A burglar and a thief. What's that? Zechariah 5? Zechariah 5, right? And I think I want yeah, now look at verse 3. It says, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts. So this is the judgment that the Most High is going to have on those that steal, that's going to be cut off, and making false swearings or vows, right? I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief. Well, who stole America? Who's stealing inventions? Who's over here with the highest, statistically, burglaries, car thefts, aggravated assaults? We see it here. The house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. In God we trust. Oh, okay. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. So he's the thief, man. He's the criminal. Stolen lands, colonizations, stealing women. I mean, come on. Look, motor theft, 38,000 to 16,000. Damn near 2 times as many car thefts as Jake's. Arson, 4,000 to 4,400 to 1,500. Violent crime. Charlie Kirk says, hey, blacks are more violent. I can't tell. 209,000 violent crimes were committed by whites as opposed to 129,000. Almost 120,000 more violent crimes were committed by whites than Jake's. Property crimes, 500,000 to 231,000. Other assaults, 455,000 to 219,000. I mean, the numbers don't compare. Forgery and counterfeiting, everything fraudulent, deceitful, devilish, he's doing it. Stealing, forging, counterfeiting, arson, burning, killing, embezzlement. Look at it. 5,900 to 3,500. Look at this. Stolen property, buying, receiving, possessing, 38,000 to 21,000. Vandalism, he outranks everything. Look, rape, sex offenses, except rape and prostitution. Excuse me. You know what this is? PDF file, all that stuff. 21,000 to 5,900. Drug abuse. They love to talk about how niggas getting high and dope fiends and Sherm Alley and everything. But who's really doing all the drugs? 748,000 drug abuse violations are committed by whites as opposed to 274,000. We get targeted. We're the ones who are constantly getting swept up in the midst, but he's getting arrested and violated even more. Gambling, I mean, the list goes on and on, man. The list goes on and on. DUIs, drunkenness, disorderly conduct, and they'll say it's because it's more whites, and that means you're committing more crime. Either way, you'd be safe if you had greater numbers and wasn't doing no crime, and your numbers are still low. You're wreaking havoc. They're wreaking havoc all over the earth, especially here in America. And then you got this guy running around parading with fake statistics, thinking and knowing that nobody's going to look it up. I can just say it, and they're just going to believe it because I'm convincing. And I've got a gang of white folks that think just like me, but they're scared to say it. So I'm just going to ride this whole wave. All right, so we off of this dude, man. Finally got past CK, man. I'm done with him. Right? Meanwhile, look, Utah, they had another a bomb threat. Muslim terrorists arrested for planting a bomb under a Fox News truck. See, they're winding up the dolls, man. They're unleashing and letting. They're trying to get their damn sleeper cells to get to active, so they can, get some civil wars cracking, so they can get things going. They just got busted. They got sloppy. Look at this. Driver crashes a car in the FBI field, Office Gate in Pittsburgh. They letting them loose. Moment NATO jets, and mind you, I got a video in a minute. Hold on before we get to this one. Where is it at? Here we go.
Welcome back. It is 5:15. This morning, 3 police officers are dead and 2 more injured after a shooting in Pennsylvania. We're also learning that the suspect is also dead, according to police there. Amy Kiley has more details on how this tragedy unfolded.
This kind of violence isn't okay.
3 officers are dead and 2 are gravely wounded after a shooting in central Pennsylvania.
How about is it are the flags being lowered at half staff for the 3 officers? And granted, they was right. I mean, I'm just looking for the hypocrisy. Why is CK's death more important than theirs? Because his is being weaponized, right? We ain't gonna go too far into this video, but these guys went to go serve a warrant for a guy who had I think he had some the charges was stalking and some more stuff. Esau let off on him, killed 3 officers, injured 2 more. They ended up shooting them and putting them down. But this is the type of thing that's going down. While everybody's, enthralled with CK talk and caught in this algorithm whirlwind, most stuff is going on, right? They're trying to get these damn agent provocateurs out there, man, the sleeper cells active, rallying up. The white supremacist groups, man, they on Discord and they on all they little black dark websites, man, organizing and chatting and trying to rile up things, claiming them as one of their own. I mean, they own it right now. Look at this. After that, in the moment while everybody's looking at Charlie, World War III is still cracking, man. They got reports now talking about, it might go down in November. There's some estimating saying it's going to go down early next year. One thing's for sure, 2 things for certain. For all accounts and all experts, ain't nobody saying it's not going to happen. Everybody's saying it is. It's just a matter of when. The moment NATO jets intercept Russian Su-30 warplanes carrying supersonic missiles over the Baltic, as Putin taunts the West in his latest World War III show of strength. Right? So the countdown to Armageddon is on his way. Countdown to the Valley of Jehoshaphat on his way. Countdown to World War III, total destruction and annihilation of the so-called white man on his way. Countdown to the captivity of the nations on his way. The deliverance of the children of Israel on his way. Hamashiach Yahushua coming down to stomp out his enemies and those which pierced him on his way. I mean, the whole 9, man. Unbelievable. Meanwhile, Taiwan is issuing out handbooks to prepare citizens for a Chinese invasion. Remember, China said by 2027, if Taiwan don't surrender and get back under the umbrella of China, under the one China policy, they're going to do it by force. That's a whole nother war we gotta look for, right? And Taiwan saying, hey, hand out the the preparation books because it's getting ready to go down. Same way there in Europe and in Russia and everywhere else, handing out bug out bags and nuclear fallout handbooks and all kind of different bomb shelter trainings and telling them what they need to have in preparation for 72-hour survival and conscription going on in Germany and other places in Europe, getting the draft together. You understand? But we too busy worried about, hey, Charlie. No. Look at this. Armed queers. Marxist revolutionaries under investigation for possible foreknowledge of Kirk's assassination. See, they were saying that the Transformers man was planning it, or they knew that this was gonna go down, and didn't say anything. Look at this. The queer resistance. If you're wondering if there's going to be some sort of civil war agitation going on here in America, they got the Transformers armed up, ready to get busy. White supremacists ready to get busy. The blacks and Hispanics, man, we too busy getting busy on each other. We're gonna get caught slipping as usual. But this is what's on the table right now, right? Bomb squad rushed to Turning Point, USA's Phoenix headquarters, as the city prepares to host Charlie Kirk's funeral. So they had a bomb threat at Turning Point, which is Charlie Kirk's foundation. Mysterious bag spotted outside. They had to send in the bomb robot to get it up out of there, right? So you got a bomb threat in Utah, bomb threat in Phoenix, Arizona. You got the trannies running around saying, hey, we did it. We ready to get busy. We arming up. You understand what I'm saying? This is China, Taiwan handing out pamphlets saying get ready for a China invasion. NATO barely avoiding conflict with Russian bombers. I mean, all hell is literally about to break loose, man. And our people's worried about is Cardi B pregnant or not? What? Let's continue. U.S. official offers regrets over detention of South Koreans. Remember, I told you, man. When them Koreans got hit at that raid over there at the Hyundai plant in Georgia, it was a mistake. Oops, we didn't mean to get y'all. Remember the Korean president came out and said, man, what the hell is this about? We have $1 billion deal on the table. We're making these batteries and getting this shit cracking, and you over here arresting us? Hell no. Now the U.S. officials popping out. Secretary of State Christopher Landau Sunday expressed regret over the recent detention of hundreds of South Korean workers in Georgia. Landau in Seoul for a Korea U.S. Vice Foreign Ministerial meeting said that the 316 South Koreans who returned home Friday on a charter jet, are they giving us? Are they offering charter jets back to Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, Senegal, Haiti? Are they offering charter jets back to the Middle East? Hell no. Charter jets, after being detained in Georgia, will face no disadvantage when re-entering the U.S., according to South Korea's foreign ministry. Oh, come on back. My bad. I told y'all this was some bullshit. You know what I was about to say. Told y'all. There you go. Let's move on. Trump's reversal on immigration mount over economic concerns. Reversal on immigration. He's backsliding, moonwalking. President Trump has walked back some significant immigration policies that collide with his economic agenda, angering his far-right allies. Yeah, because you see what's going on with the economy. Businesses closing, man. Everybody's in an uproar. Money short. Businesses are slowing down. Construction projects are slowed up. The agriculture game is jacked up now because the 10 tribes ain't out there. So now he's over there reconsidering things. especially after you just done let the Buddha heads go and telling them they ain't gonna have no restrictions when they come on back. All eyes is on this situation, man. So we gotta keep our eyes peeled and see what's going on. Let's continue. A person is killed, an ICE agent injured at an immigration arrest near Chicago. Yeah, they went and got this guy, went to detain him. ICE agent jumps on the car and all that. He gets dragged on the car, by the car. Cop ends up killing the migrant, so-called migrant, right? I mean, but what do you expect, man? These cats are jumping out with masks and hats and glasses and unmarked cars, and you don't know what the hell's going on, man. Cat took off with the car. He holding on to the car. Man, I'm like, man, I'm trying to get the hell out of here. I don't know what's going on. Ends up getting put to death. Officer fatally shot a person who injured an ICE agent during an immigration arrest in the Chicago area Friday, according to federal immigration officials. A spokesperson for Immigration and Customs Enforcement said that officers were conducting a vehicle stop as part of a, quote, targeted law enforcement activity on Friday morning. Did you hear that? Targeted law enforcement. So remember, they're targeting based upon what you look like. It's profiling, in other words. So they targeted this guy. And then, mind you, here you go. You don't know what the hell's going on, man. Are these guys? You're in Chicago. You're in Iraq. Are these guys jumping out, man, trying to rob you, shoot you? You don't know what the hell's going on. Masked up and gloved up. Like, what? The person being stopped resisted and attempted to drive his vehicle into the officers, arresting him, subsequently striking and dragging one of them. ICE said in the statement, fearing for his life, the officer discharged his firearm and struck the subject. There you go. Look at this. People are losing hope inside ICE detention centers. Immigrant detainees are not receiving proper mental health care, lawyers and advocacy groups say, and reports of suicide attempts are persistent. Now, if you remember, what was I think it was in New York, in one of the detention centers, man, they were refusing the doctors from coming in. So they're not getting mental health care, medical care. We know they ain't getting fed right in these camps, man. And now you're seeing people out there losing hope. There's suicide attempts in the camps now. See what I'm saying? People in there getting detained, ends up being, put in situations where no hope, and they thinking of unaliving themselves. Uproars of the people, 2 Ezra 9 and 2. Strikes and protests, royal France pitting the streets against Macron and his new prime minister. So over there in France, man, they rioting, they over there protesting in them streets. France is lit and turned up over there, right? We see what went on in Nepal last week, and they still acting the fool over there. So people are committing sedition all over the world. All over the world. And that's just par for the course, because remember, 2 Ezra said this is going to be the time that the Lord's going to begin to visit the earth that he made. Let's get that real quick. Because as we see these signs pass, it said measure the time diligently. We taking note. We're watching things as they unfold. We're watching things diligently. We're understanding and seeing prophetically what's happening. We're seeing all of the signs coming to pass. It said, which I told you before. Verse 1, he answered me then and said, measure out the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So yeah, the Lord is visiting the world. The Spirit of the Most High is visiting the world. He shot the bow. It's not going to get turned back. Fire's been lit. Can't nobody put it out. And that's just what it is. Protests, earthquakes. They just had a major earthquake over in what was it? And they were just talking about tsunami watch too. I think it was still in Russia again. I don't know if it was today or if it was yesterday. Here you go. Tsunami warning. Issued early, briefly after a strong 7.8 earthquake. Kamchatka. Yeah, it was in Russia. See? That's their second one this year. 7.8. That's major. Now, I don't think it hit directly. I think it hit off in the coast in the water. But you're still gonna feel that rocking and rolling. But isn't that what we just seen? Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and upwards of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So what we're witnessing is what? Prophecy. Strikes, upwards of the people, earthquakes, all going down at the same time. That was an officer shooting. And look what else, man. This how you know who this guy is. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. It said, if you find anybody who's more profane, let's look at that word in the Bible dictionary online. Irreverent to anything sacred. Applied to persons. A man is profane when he takes the name of God in vain or treats sacred things with abuse or irreverence. Not sacred, polluted, not pure. See, that's what we're seeing through him. Obscene, heathenish, tending to bring reproach on religion. So if you can find somebody worse than him, there ain't nobody that can top this guy. Nobody can top this guy in his spirit and his descendants. Look what they're doing. Sickening. SEX dolls that look like kids are being advertised for sale on Facebook. Can you imagine? Now, this is allowed. This isn't considered hate speech and anything, but people losing their jobs, getting canceled and everything else for saying what they felt about the incident of last week. But Facebook/Meta is allowing ads with SEX dolls that look like kids. Social media giant Meta has profited from over 1,300 ads from websites promoting childlike X dolls, despite the ban on importing them to the UK. A joint investigation between the Mirror and the Bureau of Investigation Journalism has found. This is ill. Can you imagine? This is the type of folly that's going on. The demented mind of the so-called white man. What's he doing? And Meta profiteering off of it. 1,300 ads. They're paying for these ads, and Facebook is allowing it. Meta's allowing it. Selling these particular items, lest there be any fornicator or profane as Esau. Set that one in the records. Back to the economy, man. Look at this long-term unemployment at post-pandemic highs, straining workers and economy. So they're basically talking about, man, people are going without jobs 6 months or more, worrying for the economy. More than 1 in 4 workers without jobs have been unemployed for at least half the year. New data shows that number is a post-pandemic high. So since the pandemic, people was losing their jobs, businesses closed, and everything else. The economy was down. That's why they had to quote unquote stimulate, printing up money, causing inflation. You see, slow Biden's economic policies, man, damn near destroyed America. The chump comes in and says he's going to get it back again. He's doing even worse. That should be a telltale sign regarding what's going to happen with this place. So, look it down here. It says, We have a low hire, low fire environment, and that stagnancy means that there aren't a lot of new positions for people to move into, said Lori Ulrich, the Director of Economic Research of the job sites. Indeed, the probability of becoming unemployed has not gone up that much, but if you become unemployed, it's much harder to find a job. Yeah, that's a fact. That's what happens. And you just seen, what's the name? Jerome Powell just raised the interest rates again, so that's going to affect the economy. Federal Reserve did their thing. So a lot of, you're going to see the metals. Those things are going to continue increasing in value as the dollar keeps decreasing. They saying foreclosures is up. People saying if you had 0% interest in some places, they like, you still can't afford the houses anymore. It's all bad. Let's continue on. Now, remember we talked about the Ministry of Truth, changing history. We know that Trump is running around here saying that he wants to destroy, or he's trying to correct the Smithsonian and other historical museums, saying that he wants any references to slavery and oppression of our people taken off. This guy, Peter Gordon, famous picture of the torturous lashings that he got on his back, the scars. I think Will Smith did a movie depicting him. I don't even know what happened to it. I think they buried that because he was supposed to do. What happened to that movie? Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think it ever came out. Did it ever come out? Will Smith as Peter Gordon. Yeah, here it is. Emancipation versus the True With Peter. Did the movie ever come out is what I'm wondering. Will Smith stars in the new Apple TV. Oh, it didn't come out in theaters. It was an Apple TV plus Emancipation, which recounts the story of a man named Peter who provided visual proof of the brutality of slavery in a widely circulated photograph. This is in 2022. I wonder if it ever came out. I gotta look for this because I don't. What was the name of it? I think it was called Emancipation. Yeah, Emancipation. One of y'all know if this ever came out, let me know. But I remember seeing 2022 was 3 years ago. But guess what? Trump says, we're gonna erase that. We're gonna take that off. They said they wanted to erase, they're going to edit out his whip marks. He said the national park is to remove the photo of enslaved man's scars. The Trump administration is ordering the removal of information on slavery at multiple national parks in an effort to scrub them of, quote, corrosive ideology. See, this is why they didn't want, what was the name of that, education system that they wanted to implement in the schools. Dang, it's right on tip of my tongue. It starts with a C too. I'm drawing a blank on that one. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about too. Critical race theory. Critical race. Charlie Kirk was against this too. I said I wasn't gonna talk about it no more. But yeah. Look at this. They were trying to put this in the schools. Florida said no. Republicans said no. They said this is all about being quote unquote woke. We don't need to be reminded about, everything that the white man did to the blacks and the Native Americans and Hispanics. And, this is all about pushing an agenda and BLM. And no, we're not going to do that. So now they're going so far as to even erase history. Critical race theory is a conceptual framework developed to understand the relationships between social conceptions of race and ethnicity, social and political laws, and mass media. CRT also considers racism to be systematic in various laws and rules. See, they don't want to hear about the systematic racism that America is built on and is sustained on. They want you to believe, hey, we're all created equal, get off your lazy butt, stop protesting, stop trying to be victimized, get out there, you can get yours just like everybody else. We don't hold anybody back. Those lies. They want everybody to believe that. They're saying it's not based on only an individual's prejudices. The word critical in the name is an academic reference to critical theory, not criticizing or blaming individuals. So they didn't want that, but now you see the type of extreme measures that they get ready to take. So with Peter Gordon out of Louisiana, he said they want to scrub off. This is a corrosive ideology to think that they would do something like this. We don't need any memories of that. We don't need to rile up the blacks. See, the Trump administration has ordered the removal of signs and exhibits related to slavery at multiple national parks. According to 4 people familiar with the matter, including a historic photograph of a formerly enslaved man showing scars on his back, this is one of our best, visual aids when you take it out on the streets, right? Look at this. He says the President Donald Trump's March executive order directing the Interior Department to eliminate information that reflects a, quote, corrosive ideology that disparages historic Americans. National Park Service officials are broadly interpreting that directive to apply to information on racism, sexism, slavery, gay rights, or persecution of indigenous people. You see that? Persecution of indigenous people, slavery, racism. They said they want all of that removed. Anything that relates to them being guilty, they don't want. Didn't they say that in Zechariah 11? They hold themselves not guilty. Zechariah 11:5. They want to scrub the histories of their evils, man, and you can't do that. But it's no different than the Greeks. The Greeks said that they were going to change the likeness of our images to be like them in was it 2 Maccabees, the 3rd chapter, I believe. Burning books, the whole nine, man. He's still actively doing it. Philly activists rallied to protect the president's house history as Trump deadline to remove exhibits depicting slavery near. See, they're in Philly. They're trying to march and say, no, what are you doing? You can't remove our history. That's one of the pinnacle things that we stand on regarding the prophecies of Deuteronomy 28 and so forth, and us identifying with who we are. Now, if they, give them another 10, 15 years, you might not even need that long before that type of history is completely erased off of the net and everything else, and you can't find anything. And now it's like, we can't prove it. Oh, it's not on the internet. I don't see it. Can't find it anymore. They can scrub all of those things off. And now all of a sudden, oh, you guys are lying. That never happened. I mean, there's whole generations who have no idea about history from 10 years ago, 15 years ago. The youth now, you can forget about it. I told you, there's a video of a sister trying to explain that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore. So you can imagine when they really go through and really start scrubbing this thing down, and him removing exhibits and pictures and editing, and AI comes in and completely changing it and mixing history. That gets back to the essences of the ministry of truth. 1984 is real. You live in it. We live in it. Again, let's leave CK alone, man. One of ours got hung. Delta State University tragedy. Body of a 21-year-old student found hanging from a tree. Classes are canceled. Down in Mississippi. Some of y'all heard about this. In Grenada, Mississippi, man. Brother got put to death. DeMar Trevion, or Trey Reed, was found hanging from a tree on campus, and his body was beat up. His cousin is online saying, "Hey, this is lynching." They talking about immediately. Of course, the police say, "Oh, this was self-induced," but they have reason to believe that he had bruising on his body. I believe one of the limbs was broke. And the police said, "Oh, there was no bruisings. From our observation, there was no foul play. He unalived himself. We're going to go ahead and wrap this one up." So the family now is saying they want a second autopsy. They want to find out what's going on. But again, down in Mississippi, as they say, the old slogan in the old movie, Mississippi Burning. There's a lot of history down there in Mississippi, man. I've talked about it before. The first concentration camp in America, Natchez, Mississippi, after World War One. Brothers got down there and got put to death, trapped in a camp down there. Mississippi got a bad history, man. And now we're here. And you know what? And I think a week later, some homeless Edomite got hung too. So of course they're gonna say, "Oh well, it wasn't a hate crime." You know, a little old white man got put to death too. But him, they're talking about, "Oh, we need to investigate this. This could be a hate crime against the homeless and all that." But this brother is immediately, yeah, he did it to himself. Don't worry about it. But let it be some more homeless white man. And who knows how that could work out, man. He could have been collateral damage just so that it could throw off what really happened to this brother. So we got to keep looking into what happened over here to Trey Reed, man. Leave Charlie alone. Let's see what happened with Trey, though. In continuation with, see, that's what I'm saying. But we're distracted about CK over there. The UK and the US, man, the chump flew out there, met up with Prince Charles, or King Charles as he's known as, signed a $42 billion tech deal to increase the AI partnership grid for the B system. Went over there and gave them some more money so that they can get the AI grid locked in. Look at this. Under the tech prosperity deal, the two nations agreed to cooperate in advancing AI, quantum computing, and nuclear tech. According to the statement issued by the UK government, major US tech companies, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, OpenAI, CoreWeave, will invest in the UK's AI infrastructure, including data centers and computer chips, as part of the agreement. There you go. So, B system is expanding. While everybody's looking to the left, look what's happening on the right. Look, YouTube, new leader of U.S. media industry. Now, look, this is where everybody's getting their media from, news from, everything's coming through YouTube now. And guess what they said? They're betting on AI as the key for creating their new content. I showed y'all the article last week. They're getting ready to roll out 5,000 new podcasts, 3,000 new shows, or some, what was it? I know it said podcasts and 3,000, something else. AI based. Everything's going to be AI on damn YouTube. You're not going to be able to tell what's real, what isn't anymore. AI is going to be the key for creating new content on YouTube. It's already been interwoven as a new U.S. media industry, as they say. On its 20th birthday, YouTube is unrecognizably as a scrappy video site that began as the domain of young amateur users publishing unpolished, low-budget clips. Commanding 2.7 billion users, including celebrities like British pop star Dua Lipa, who share professional-grade content, YouTube has become the most popular way for Americans to watch TV and is expected to eclipse industry leader Disney's media revenue this year. Look at that. YouTube is more popular than Disney. Most movie channels, definitely any and all news. It's the new TV. Putting cable companies out of business, the whole nine. On Tuesday, the company's annual Made on YouTube product launch event, executives at the platform owned by Alphabet's Google laid out a vision how YouTube planned to dominate the airwaves in coming decades with AI. So the matrix is getting ready to expand. Everybody's locked in. AI is going to be creating everything moving forward. So everybody that's got the podcast and all that other stuff, they're going to get replaced. With AI content, they're going to be able to push that out as fast as they want because, it takes time for human to come up and develop ideas, conversations, doing all the technicals, the editing, everything else. AI is gonna be dumping this like this. And as much as people's attention spans move like goldfish, they're constantly on one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. You can see it already now. There's a lot of AI advertisements and commercials and content and shorts and all that. Like people are entertained by that now. That's why I said even last week we talked about what's that website? I forgot what it was called, but it was the biblical based website that created the AI depiction of Revelation 12 with, you know, the dragon and everything else. And it was like, how much is this more illusion based than it is people getting caught up in the illusion and the entertainment as opposed to really what that's real stuff coming from the word of the Most High, where you can turn the Bible into a Marvel movie. And then now you can be thinking like, oh, that was a movie. Oh, that was cool. Well, that was that. And you lose sight of the seriousness that the Bible presents. So AI is getting ready to run YouTube. We're all going to be watching, scratching our heads saying, was that real? Or was it not? I don't know. And it's going to be keep cranking out. And we're going to get lost in this loop. Let me close this out. So there you have another one in the books, man. All praise, all praise, honor, glory to the Most High, White House side, man. Blessed evening to everybody. I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, and Lord willing, catch y'all on the next one. Always imparting. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, don't shoot the messenger. Shalom.